You're welcome, beautiful people. My name is Odwayo, and on this channel, I film about women's health and how to live healthy each day. If this is a content that you are interested in, please kindly click on the subscribe button, click on the notification bell, and if you're a returning subscriber, I love you. Thank you for coming back. In today's video, I'll be sharing about my struggles or my journey so far with uterine myoma. This day, about a year ago, 365 days ago, I had an emergency myomectomy, unplanned myomectomy, and I thought to share my journey. Back then, I remember my husband trying to make a post about it, and I was not really happy. I was like, no, please don't share the story, blah 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 blah, because I was really not in a good place at that time. But now I feel okay, I could share this story. And why am I sharing this story? Because one, so that people who find themselves in such situation will find a relatable story, which was one of the things that helped me while I was on that journey. And also so that for the purpose of information, for those who don't really know what this is all about, I know there are lots of things you can find even on YouTube, on Google, on the internet, probably, that you can find, but maybe okay, this could be one of the contents that would give you that information. For those who don't know, uterine fibroid, also known as uterine myoma, is actually a growth in the uterus, actually maybe in the wall of the uterus, in the muscle of the uterus, or in the lining of the uterus. So that's what fibroid is. It's usually benign, it is non-cancerous, and it is common. At least maybe 6 out of every 10 women is going to develop fibroid at a point in their life, and it's usually common to women who have the reproductive age because of the hormone estrogen, which the fibroid feeds on. It usually comes from we are ovulating. That's when you produce much of that hormone. One of the major symptoms of uterine myoma is dysmenorrhea. I'm going to try to start by talking about my symptoms before I go over to how my diagnosis and how I eventually have to go for a fibroid surgery. So one of the major symptoms of dysmenorrhea is fibroid is dysmenorrhea, and that it is most women discover that they have fibroid, just like me, discover accidentally, maybe by trying to treat dysmenorrhea, or maybe they are pregnant and then they go for a scan and all that. So mine was because of a case of me trying to manage dysmenorrhea. So how did I have dysmenorrhea? I discovered while I was growing up, when I was still very young, I used to have, I'm talking about 15 years ago, I used to have menstrual pain. But once I do away with sugar, I get my period fine. I don't have the pain. But about 5 years ago, I discovered that once even if I don't take sugar, I have serious pain. I was trying to, and I started managing my menstrual pain, then it felt me. I thought, oh, it's just something, just like that. So I just start like, Felvin is a form of diclofenac. For those who don't know, Felvin is a form of diclofenac. So I was usually taking Felvin at least 24 hours before my period. I was able to manage it until sometime in 2018, I think December 2018, because I was having ulcers and chronic ulcers. I kept coming back, and I knew, okay, because I take Felvin, although it's just maybe sometimes one tab in a whole month, but I just felt okay, of course, and because I get the ulcer pain whenever I'm on my period, I said, oh, it's the Felvin. So December 2018, I just said, oh, I'm going to have my period this time. I tried another painkiller, but I won't try Felvin so that I don't have to get ulcer pain. But that month, something strange happened. I had my period for 8 days straight, and I was in serious pain for that 8 days. I remember I was at home, and then the ulcer pain also was there. So that sent a very, a signal to me that what is happening, but I don't feel this. Is it because I did that? And actually the period didn't stop, but then I went back to take that Felvin, then the period stopped. So I was like, oh, maybe my body is getting too accustomed to Felvin and all that. So that was my thought, but actually that was not. So the next month I took Felvin, but the ulcer pain was so much that when I'm on my period, I have ulcer pain for like 3 days straight, and I should not even try to mask it. Those 3 days, I'm not doing anything. I'm not going to work. I'm not trying even to cook. If I want to get out of bed, probably go to the restroom, I have to crawl. It's as painful as that. even after taking all the form of ulcer pain, ulcer drugs that I know, or cutting back, there's even no food I will not even be able to eat to start with. I'll just be taking drugs and all, and it was not really working. So I said, oh, if I can't manage this dysmenorrhea alone, then let me go to the doctor. So that was what took me actually to the hospital. One of that symptom that I had, which I didn't know was as a result of fibroid, was because I was always getting UTI. I was treating UTI back to back. Probably every 20 days, I always, have to go back to treat UTI, and then yeast infection. I was always having yeast infection. There was a time I had yeast infection, I think for like 2 months, if not more, as a stretch. Like I was treating it maybe to relieve me for like maybe 2 days, then I'm back on it, 2 days, I'm back on it. So, but I didn't really, that was not what took me to the clinic actually. So I went to the clinic sometime in 2018 and in 2019, and then I spoke to the doctor. I told, the reason why I went was because my period was coming and I was already scared, because if I don't take Felvin, then I'm having 2 pains. I will have menstrual pain and ulcer pain. So I was already scared. I said, okay, let me talk to a doctor. So maybe he'll prescribe another drug, at least for the ulcer and for the menstrual pain. So when I got to him, when I discussed with him, God bless him, he said to me, oh, okay, I could actually prescribe another drug for you. I could actually give you another drug. But don't you think that you should kind of investigate why you are having this sort of pain, if what you are describing to me is real, is what it is rather? Why don't you, try to investigate, and let's check your uterus, let's see what was there. She was even telling me that, oh, because your period is coming, and then I told him also I had fever, that you should get, maybe I have malaria or something. It was like, okay, if I even treat you with malaria, let's check, you might even be pregnant, blah 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 blah, let's take a test. So he told me to go and take a scan, which I just said, oh, how much is the scan? When I got, I was like, waste of money. He had not even prescribed the drug. It was like, bring the scan result and I'll prescribe drugs. So I was like, waste of money, I'll go and do scan again. So I went for the scan just to take the scan so that it can give me the prescription. I took the scan, and lo and behold, the scan revealed that I had multiple fibroids. 3 fibroids. I will try if I can. I think I still have the scan. I keep documents. That's one of my maybe strength or weakness. I don't know what it is, but I keep documents. I have everything filed. I would put a picture of it, of the scan results, and then it was 3. I think it was 2, maybe 2 mm, 20 something mm, maybe that's about 2 centimeters. It was really small. So it was like, oh, it's small, and it was small, and it was like, when I took back to the doctor, I was like, this thing is small now, and you're not even inside your uterus. It's not inside the womb, that you can just overlook it. Let me prescribe drug for you. So he prescribed the drug. I used the drug did not do anything. There was no effect. The only drug that he gave me that was able to make the difference was the malaria drug I took, and then the fever now was feeling left. But that one, for in short, any other drug I used was not working, except I used Felvin, and even with Felvin would only work for maybe 2 or 3 days. I didn't say that. Eventually, after some time of taking Felvin, works for maybe 2 or 3 days, and then the pain is back. And all. So where was I going? Okay, that was the diagnosis, and after I got that diagnosis, because of the pain, and the pain is like a reminder every time that something is wrong. When I didn't know that something was wrong, I used to say, oh, normal menstrual pain. But now the pain is not like a reminder of the fact that something is wrong. So every time I'm on my period, I'm going through that pain, I'm always finding a doctor or somebody to talk to. I think I spoke to about 4 doctors. They gave me different prescriptions. But what they all told me was, if the pain is so much, even no matter how little it is, you might have to take it out. I resorted to, buying drugs. I was always buying drugs, always taking drugs, because just to manage my symptom, not because maybe the fibroid, because the size of the fibroid, according to the scan, was actually small. not because of the size of the fibroid, maybe I was trying to shrink, although ultimately those drugs said it would shrink the fibroid, but I just needed something to get my life back. You know, when they say someone's quality of life was low, my quality of life then was quite low. So I tried drugs and I spent quite a lot, maybe some amount of money, maybe about, no more than 200,000 then, 20,000 naira, not dollars, so 20,000 naira, maybe buying drugs because I had to import some, and those drugs worked. They worked, not really on my symptoms, but I believe they worked, sure. But okay, the one that really actually made a difference was the one I used. I think that one is about maybe 5 or 10,000 naira, and I have to buy 2 every month. That one, if I take that religiously, I won't have. If I take that religiously, I won't have menstrual pain. As in, my menstrual pain will be like divided by 2. By then, by the time I'm having my period, but the bleeding will be like times 2. So I'm always on the toilet seat. Majorly, I prefer to just sit on the toilet seat at that time. So I did that maybe for about 3 months or so before I eventually stopped taking it, because it was making me bleed a lot. You know, whenever I finish my period, I know because I'm usually indoors. Whenever I come out, people will be like, have you been sick? What's wrong with you? You're looking so slim. What's happening to you? Blah blah. I'll be looking so slim and sick. So I just had to stop because the bleeding was too much. I had to stop, and I stopped that drug. And then I was using something else. I don't know that I tell you stories though. Okay, in my feelings. I tried those drugs for about 6 months or something. So I went back to take another scan, and the fibroid had about times 2 in size. Yeah, so really like times 2. Those that were 2 were already 4. The one that was 1 was about 3. If I have the second result, the second scan result, I also show it was about 3 already, and it was just like times 2 already. So it's like, okay, it's not so bad. It's still small, even those ones are still small actually. So I said, okay, it's not that bad. Let's watch it. I was like that until okay. And I think the downside of fibroid is the low quality of life. Some women have fibroids, they don't know. If the fibroid is not actually giving symptom, it's if the fibroid is not giving symptom, it's something you can overlook. Actually, if you are not bleeding heavily, it's not affecting your quality of life. It's not as if it's giving you a lot of discomfort. You can actually live life with it. Once you get to menopause, it dies off. And I think that's the situation of most women actually. But for some, have to go through the brouhaha and everything that comes with it. Like me, like I witnessed almost everything. I could remember I could be bloated, so bloated. My tummy would be so big, be bloated. Once, it's not funny. My tummy will be big. I have a lot. I don't even know, back pains, yeast infection, a lot. I think there was a time I wrote down the symptoms. If I still remember those, I can't remember now. I may just put it down so that you can actually see it. See, my husband was so supportive all throughout that journey. He was so supportive. Once he was around, he's always there. And sometimes when I'm managing when I'm in that situation, I really don't want him to see me, or I really don't like what his face looks like, because if you know him, he's somebody that bites other people's pain. So, and I really do. I feel guilty sometimes seeing him like that. Like, oh, I'm the one that made him to feel like this. He's not happy. So what I just do most times, I mask my feelings and try to buy, because he's a very bubbly person, try to buy his own energy and not, sell mine to him and all. So most of the time, he just ask me, how you? And oh, I'm fine. Oh, it's not that serious. It's not this, it's not that. And if you know me, when I know it's not that serious, it's about just multiply by 10. That's the kind of person I am. Till one day, I had my period, and normally my period it will be long. So on about the ninth, 8th day, it was already, on about the 7th, 8th day, it was already going down. It was already going down. It was reducing, and okay, I was happy. But I just discovered that as much as it was reducing, I was in pain, like a constant pain. Like the pain had a threshold. It was not going up, it was not going down. It was just there. And no matter what I do, the pain will not just go away. And the pain, I don't know how to describe it now. It's feeling like a pain when you feel like there's something down there, and you just have to, kind of scream and push it out. That's the kind of pain I had. So I was almost like I was like that for like 3 days. Pain was there till like from like Friday up to Sunday. Sunday I could not go to work. I remember I wanted to go make my hair. I got to the salon and I could not concentrate. I could not hold myself. I was just there, and my stylist was like, "Auntie, what's wrong? What's wrong with you? Are you okay?" I was like, "Oh, I'm okay." I wanted to fix my hair, so I just told her, "You know what? Please weave my hair. Don't fix it." I gave her, because the next day was actually Monday and I had to go to work. I just gave her the weave and I said, "You know what? Human hair, make it into wig. I will use the wig. Just weave something, and please, the weaving should not be more than 30 minutes. I have to get out of here. When you are done with the wig, please, this is my house address. Bring it down or send it down, whatever. Just get it to me." So I paid her. She weaved the hair, paid her for the wig, and let's came home, slept on the same position. My husband went out. I think they had a church program or something. So it was in church trials. He came back really late. And I was like, "What's wrong with you? Are you still feeling the pain?" I know I've been masking the pain, in all honesty. I've been masking it. So it really did not know that I was, for like maybe 3 days, I've been in constant pain. Like, "What's happening?" Because it was already getting, so I told him it's not serious, blah blah blah. So we went to bed, and throughout the night I didn't sleep. My husband did not sleep. Both of us, we were just awake because I was in pain. I was just holding my hand. I was, I don't know how to, I don't know how they describe that sign. And it was painful. And when you're saying it from the place of pain, it was painful. The next morning, as early as 6, we had left the house, went to the hospital, and when I got there, the nurses, before the doctor could even attend to me, the nurses had to give me like an injection, painkiller. I think they gave me, was it 2 or 3 injections? I think they gave me about 3, because I was telling them I was not that serious. They gave me like 3 injections. So gave me 3 injections, then told me to go and take a scan immediately. So in fact, the injection calmed me down so much that almost, when we were going for the scan, I almost told my husband that, "Alaye, let us go back home." I felt so, as in, the relief was heavenly. I felt so relieved. I said, "Let's go back home." I didn't tell him to go back home, but I was already feeling like, let's not be wasting our time. I know it was Monday morning, so I said, maybe I should just go to, in fact, sent a message to my boss that, "Oh, I'll be coming in late. I have a medical issue to attend to, but I'm coming back to work." So we went for the scan. We came back. We had to wait to see the doctor and the gynecologist. We had to wait to see the gynecologist. By the time we were waiting to see him, I was already feeling the pain, coming back gradually, but so minute, blah blah blah. So I took the scan, and when they said I should take the scan, I knew what was there already. So I just took the scan. So I took the scan to the gynecologist, and when he saw it, he checked and everything, was like, "If you're having this kind of pain, although the fibroid honestly is small, but if this pain is as much as it is now, I would advise you take it out." So I was like, take it as Gabi, you should just prescribe drugs for me. And like I told you, I spoke to about maybe 4 doctors. Speaking to him now made it the 4th doctor I was actually going to talk to about it. And they have always been telling me surgery. One even said, "Oh, she's going to sell a drug that I do not know the name, her own drug to me, and that the drug will help me shrink it." But I didn't really buy those kind of, I'm skeptic about such. I didn't go for a drug, but I was always taking medical advices and all. So, but the crown of all the advice was like, I should go for a myomectomy, which was what the doctor said. Was like, if you want to take it out, anytime, please just go to the desk. To one desk, just refer me to a particular office that I should make inquiries about the cost and all. I said, okay. So when I left my husband, I'm like, these doctors are looking for money. In all honesty, I'll be sincere. That was my thought, but most often it's not like that. I'm the one in pain, is not the one. So he said, remove it. He prescribed a drug for me, a painkiller also. So he said, use this, at least it won't trigger your ulcer, whatever, and then you should be able to manage. It's a strong painkiller to manage any form of pain that you have to go through. In the meantime, be taking this, but if you really think you want to remove it, please let me know or give me a call. So he dropped his number. Thank God we collected his number. My husband did. Thank God he did. So we left the clinic, and by the time we got back home, the pain had returned. In all honesty, it had returned, and it was like ×2 of how I left the doctors, of how I left the clinic in the morning. And we came back around maybe 1 to the house. But I was in so much pain, and the pain was just like I wanted to sponge something, or maybe if I don't know, maybe it's from my bowel or from my uterus. I didn't even know. I just know something was trying to come out. So I went to the restroom, I peed, and then I just tried to push a little to see maybe I could have number 2 or just poop or something. And it was as if when I tried to push down, that something just snapped from my uterus, and that pain came. I don't even know from nowhere, took my uterus, and I screamed. In my head, I was screaming because my husband was in the living room, was watching TV. In my head, I was screaming, but obviously nobody heard me. Even me, I could not hear myself. I knew it was not going to hear me. I was screaming. I tried to just say, okay, maybe it's just a pain that I'll manage. I went to the bed, and then I closed the door. That was the mistake I made. I closed the door after me laid on the bed. But the pain I felt I was just going to die the next minute. I felt like maybe something has snapped in my uterus and there's blood accumulating inside of me. I was screaming my husband. I was trying to call my husband, but he could not hear me. I could not even hear myself. So every time I called, I increased the strength, increased. I was there for maybe about 15 minutes because before he could even hear, or maybe something just told him to come and check me or something. When I saw him, I was in pain, moaning, screaming, pulling his shirt. I could not hold myself. I was telling him, I'm about to die. I want to die. There's something inside. Blah, blah. I was like that, and it was like, oh, he could not hold himself again. He had to call my mom, although later, maybe in front of my mom was like, I was saying, please, don't let me die. Pray for me. I said, me? I don't think I did that, but she said that was what I was doing, but I think I was able to control myself to some extent. So my mom said, oh, take her back to the hospital. So we rushed back to the hospital, and they had to set a drip for me. The nurse that, oh, please help me check. I think I'm having internal bleeding. I think there is blood in my uterus. I think because I was having a feeling that maybe there's something in my uterus that wants to just force its way out. That was the way I was feeling. Maybe people have given birth before. I don't know, maybe that's how childbirth is, but that's the way I was just feeling. My uterus was just, doing whatever it was doing inside. I was just in so much pain. They had to set a drip for me just to get me to sleep because everybody was already agitated and confused. I was like throwing that fear on all of them, even the doctors and everybody. They just had to get me to sleep before I started doing whatever I wanted to do. And they checked and checked and checked. They did not see anything. The only thing they could see was the fibroid. And said, okay. So my husband called my aunt, who was far away, but at least the closest to us. So she came around. She was with me in the hospital, and I woke up. The doctor said, oh, we can't keep you here. You can't see anything. You can only see the fibroid. The only thing is, if she's in another kind of pain, bring her back. Or if you so decide, let us do the surgery. So the pain had already gone down, but I was still in pain. look at, I was still in pain because that night I could not even eat. I was still in pain, but not that, at least there's something suppressing the way I was feeling. So, to cut long story short, over the night, I did not sleep again. My husband did not sleep. And bear in mind, I've been in constant pain for like 6 days now. For like 6 days, constant pain. So, my husband could not sleep. I was in pain. I was just all through the night. He was holding my hand. I didn't know I was feeling sharp, but he was holding my hand. He was just trying. It was like, sweet, I can't bear looking at you like this. Please, if you would agree, let's just do the surgery. Let's take this fibroid out. And if there's anything like thinking, if there's anything happening, at least the doctors can see it and they can correct it. Let us just do it. So I had to agree. So the next morning, because even if you're not going for surgery, you have to wake up very early and go to the hospital because I was in serious pain. The next morning, we went off to the hospital. We had already called. We called the doctor as early as 6 a.m. that, look, we are coming back. The pain is not going away. Everything, the drugs, the injection, the pain is not going. Please, let's just do the surgery. So I got to the hospital around 7, and by 10, on this day here, I was wheeled into the theater. At least the doctor was like, let's just do the surgery, remove the fibroid, and if there's any other thing there, please, we will see. And how will you be in pain for 6 days? Nothing is showing any other thing. Everything is showing that your uterus is fine. There's nothing going on. I was even thinking that if it was ruptured ovarian cyst, at least it comes with some other symptoms like fever or uterine up and all those kind of things. But I was not feeling any other thing. The only thing I was feeling was just serious pain, and my uterus was just, I don't just know, was just squeezing, trying to maybe expunge what is not. I don't even know. Maybe just squeezing and trying to get something out of it. I don't know. That was the pain I was feeling. And when I was going for the surgery, I really do not have any form of fear or something, because the pain I was in was actually more than the fear that I could have had that I was going in for a surgery. And that was one of the reasons why I'm making this video also. While I was going for the surgery, I really do not have too much or adequate information about what I was going for. But thankfully, I've been able to see about 1 or 2 videos. I should not have more than 2 videos about myomectomy then. So I had an understanding of what it is, although I don't have a full grasp of what was going to happen. In another video, I will talk about how the surgery went. Of course, thanks to God, it went well. What the doctors eventually found along with the fibroid, what my recovery was like, and the few complications or the little complications, that I had with it and all. So I'll be discussing that one separately in another video. And yes, I want to have a live Q&A maybe between another 10 days. I will let you know. I'll put it on my story. I'll put it on Facebook, my WhatsApp status, all my social media. So if you're not following me on any of the social media platform, please do just search for Growth In, or you go look for Uterine Sadiq on Facebook. I have a Facebook page, Growth In. I have Instagram page, Growth In. My WhatsApp is for my close contacts. If you need my number, you can ask me in the comment section. Like, add me on WhatsApp. And I don't know when it's going to be a live stream on YouTube. I don't know if I can do live stream on Facebook. I don't think so. So it's going to be a live stream here on YouTube. I'll be answering all your questions. It's a get to know me. It's actually a get to know me video. If there's anything you want to ask me, if there's anything you want to know about me, if there's any SOFO you want me to give you, if there's any information that you want to know about Africa, about Nigeria, about women's health, about me, about anything, it's just going to be a short chit chat between you and I. So I look forward to that. I'm going to have that, and then I'm going to release the second part of this video. Thank you so much for watching, and if you have not subscribed to this channel, please just click on the subscribe button and to subscribe. Thank you for watching, and bye bye. I love you.